Welcome. It's episode number 297, Tommy Maroon Sports Show. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and my picks. Let's talk about the Cavaliers first and foremost. Yep, early player stats. Look at that. That's Donovan Mitchell on the right. That's Jared Allen in the background on the left. Donovan Mitchell, Mr. Mitchell, entering last night, had 31.3 points per game, 4 assists per game, and 4 turnovers per game. Yikes. Evan Mobley, 18.3 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game. Not too shabby. Sam Merrill, 17.3 points per game. And get this, 4.53 points per game. Wow, that's mighty impressive if I were to say so myself. And Jared Allen, talk about a good player. 13.5 points per game, 7.3 rebounds per game. Well, within the last 4 games since I last talked to you folks, the Cavs won 3-1. Cavs first beat the Nets 131-124, where Donovan Mitchell had 36 points and 6 threes. Jared Allen and Sam Merrill had 22 points each. Cam Thomas for Brooklyn, 33 points, 9 assists out of the Barclays Center. 31 points and 8 rebounds for Michael Porter Jr. Nets were never winning during the ball game, and the Cavs had 2 more assists than the Nets. What else is there? Oh yeah, that game you're looking at right now. Cavs Bucks, where the Cavs won 118-113. Of course, Donovan Mitchell had 24 points, Evan Mobley 23 points and 8 rebounds. How about Giannis, folks, for the Milwaukee Bucks? Giannis Antetokounmpo, he does a good job. And he was 1 assist short of a triple-double. 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, not bad. AJ Green for Milwaukee, 20 points. And the Cavs were up by 18 at their peak. And the Bucks shot over 50% altogether in the game. Cavs shot under 50, but you know what? A win is a win. Cavs at the Pistons. Cavs take that one 116-95. All right, how about that, folks? How about that? Where we saw Donovan Mitchell have 35 points, Jared Allen 20 points, Evan Mobley 15 points and 11 rebounds. The Pistons didn't really have anybody stand out there. Cade Cunningham had 12 points. I think that was their maximum. And Tolu Smith had 11 points off the bench. I think they were all garbage time points, too. Each team with 4 blocks, and Cavs' field goal percentage was better than Detroit by 8%. Cavs against the Celtics. Last night was not that fun. I will say that. I really will say that. Cavs drilled 17 threes, but the Celtics made 21. My goodness. It all resulted in a 125-105 loss, where Evan Mobley had 19 points, 11 rebounds. That was the most out of any player for the Cavs. And Jaylen Brown, how about Jaylen Brown? 30 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. What else happened? Sam Hauser, 21 points. And he drilled all his points from three-point land. And the Cavs got outscored 35-18 in that second quarter. That's what killed the good old Cavaliers. It's always tough whenever that happens. And what else? Celtics out-rebounded the Cavs by 11. That's not really good. But let's look at the way too early standings, shall we? Yep, if I can pull it up. Standings right here. Cavs currently sit at 3-2. Chicago's undefeated. Philadelphia's undefeated. Oklahoma City looking to repeat as NBA champions. They're undefeated. Spurs are undefeated, and that's it. Heard Victor Wembanyama is doing a great job this season for the Spurs. But anyways, time for Tommy's picture recap. Yes, sirree. We beat Cuyahoga Falls 62-0. What else is new? We won 10-0. Avon went 9-1 with a win over Elyria 47-7. Speaking of 9-1 teams, North Ridgeville edges out a win at Olmsted Falls 36-34. As you can tell, I did not do that well last week, 10-10, but I finished the regular season with a 155-45 record, 168 points. Not bad. Let me check. What is that? A total. That's over 75%, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 78%, 77.5%. Manor shut out Euclid 31-0. Strongsville beat Brunswick 24-7. Berea Midport edges out a win over Avon Lake with a clutch interception at the end of the game, 34-33. Brecksville beat Twinsburg 17-14. Brecksville is the 8th seed. Roosevelt beat Sandwich 17-10. Both those team seasons are over. Revere won on a walk-off field goal to beat their arch nemesis, the Copley Indians, 24-21. Streetsboro beat Cloverleaf 35-7. Norton will be 9-1 because of their foot and mouth outbreak at the wee beginning of the season. 56-0. They shut out Coventry. Buckeyes 10-0. How about that? They beat down Lakewood 42-14. North Olmsted beat Westlake 45-42. Rocky River, they beat Bay 31-21. Green, they beat Oik 34-27. Green sneaks in the playoffs. And Massillon, Washington has now won 10 straight. 10 straight against their hated foe in Canton McKinley, 21-14 in the biggest game of them all. Hoover beat Jackson 35-14. There was a scuffle at the end of the Medina-Lorraine game where Medina won 33-30. Wadsworth is 10-0 again. They beat Solon 50-21. They claimed the National Conference, or like how we claimed the American Conference. Hudson shut out North Royalton 37-0. Hudson in the playoffs. The Bears are not. Division III football, not too bad. 15-3. Mountain Union bounced Ohio Northern 33-7. Bethel bounced McAllister's 53-0. My lock of the week. My upset was wrong. I picked Central, and Wartburg won 28-13. What else happened? Whitewater, they beat Platteville 29-19. River Falls beat Eau Claire 73-21. Dear golly. And La Crosse beat Oshkosh 44-13. Those lousy Blue Streaks are on fire. They beat Worcester 66-7. Hope against Adrian. I picked Adrian, but Hope won 19-17. Case beat up Teal by a score of 55-7. And Alma beat up Olivet 53-21. Susquehanna 69. Catholic 13. Washington Jefferson 56. Waynesburg 0. Ohio Wesleyan 55. Kenyon 13. Mount St. Joe's won 52-14. Otterbein Capital in a big rivalry there. Otterbein gets their first win this season, a 20-19 win over the Comets. Wilmington has their third win this season, I believe. Now, they're not doing that bad. They're 3-4 as they won 34-23. Bluffton beat Rose-Hulman 30-27. How about those Jackets? We're now ranked in the country, number 22 in America, with a 38-0 shutout win over Marietta. Oh, boy, was that nice. Time for Division I college football in the NFL. Indiana doing Indiana things, except unlike history, this Indiana things are unbelievable. They're on fire. 56-6. They're number 2 in the country. Oh, ye gods. And Ole Miss, they beat Oklahoma 34-26. Kansas in the Sunflower State Showdown beat Kansas State 42-17. Alabama squeaks out a win with a clutch late touchdown down the right side, courtesy of a turnover under the 2-minute mark. They edge out a win once again over South Carolina 29-22. Vandy beats Mizzou 17-10. Vandy's number 9 in the country. What is going on? Yeah, what is going on? Iowa State's dropped 3 straight. 41-27. BYU beat them. Oh, Jack Trice. Iowa beat up the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Hawkeyes 41. Minnesota 3. Pitt beat NC State 53-34. Cincinnati beat Baylor 41-20. That's a good start for Cincinnati thus far. Texas beat Mississippi State in overtime, may I say, 45-38. Oregon had a very sluggish game against Wisconsin, but they still won 21-7. A&M beat LSU, and Brian Kelly's out of a job. Oh boy, Brian Kelly sucks. 49-25. He can't win the big game, and I don't think he's coming back to coaching ever again. Everybody hates him for good reason. Michigan beats Michigan State 31-20 out in Michigan State East Lansing. Tennessee, they took down Kentucky 56-34. Houston beat Arizona State 24-16. And Utah beat up Colorado mercilessly 53-7. In the NFL, it wasn't that good. 7-6. I got my what wrong. I got my upset wrong. My goodness. Let's look at that, shall we? Yes, we shall. Chargers beat the Vikings 37-10. Dolphins beat the Falcons 34-10. Yeah, that was my lock of the week, and I got wrong. Ravens beat the Bears 30-16. Bills beat the Panthers by a score of 40-9. Jets beat the Bengals. Jets finally won a game. Oh my goodness. They make a comeback win against the Flacco Bengals 39-38. Texans 26. 49ers 15. Patriots, of course, beat the lights out of the Browns because the Browns sucked 32-13. Eagles got back to their winning ways again with another win over the Giants 38-20. Buccaneers beat the Saints 23-3. Broncos beat up the Cowboys 44-24. Colts are 7-1. How does that happen? My goodness. My goodness is right. Because the Colts are on fire. They beat up the Titans 38-14. Daniel Jones is going to win comeback player of the year. You watch. Who else is it going to be? Who else? I don't know. What I do know is that the Packers beat the Steelers 35-25 and the Chiefs beat the Commanders 28-7. Time for Tommy's picks. Yes, sirree. High school football. It's all right there, folks. That's right. That can only mean one thing. Playoff time. Berea Mid-Park's going to be Cleveland Heights. Perrysburg against St. Ignatius, who got in only because John Marshall decided to opt out of the playoffs. Oh, come on. Perrysburg might beat them by 50. St. Ignatius is horrible. They're going to be 1-10. Ryan Franzinger is not the answer. My goodness, that dude will be lucky if he has a job at St. Ignatius next year. Strongsville will beat Medina. And Brunswick, I think, will beat Jackson, Massillon, Jackson. Division 2, Region 5, Boardman will beat Riverside. Hudson against South. I'm going with Hudson over will be South. Here's an upset. Garfield Heights against Green. I got to pick the Green Bulldogs. I know Max Stevens is a great coach at Garfield Heights. He was at Cleveland Heights for a long time, but now he's at Garfield Heights. But I think Green, they've really been in a groove lately. They'll win. And Nordonia will beat Twinsburg. In Division 2, Region 6, the Highland Hornet region and Wadsworth Grizzly Region 2. Can't forget the Grizzlies out there. Clay will beat Brecksville, Anthony Wayne will beat Toledo Start. Homestead Falls over Fremont Ross. What else is out there? St. Francis de Sales will beat Valley Forge at St. Francis de Sales. Division 2, Region 7, Walnut Ridge over Kilbourne. We got Westerville South against Louisville, picking Westerville South. Hoover against Northland, picking Hoover. And Ashland will beat Mount Vernon. Ashland went 9-1, but somehow they wound up being the 7th seed. My goodness. Kenston will beat Mayfield. Maple Heights is a big upset over Shore. I don't know why I'm picking them, but probably because Shore's been struggling this season. Gotta go with the Mustangs. Benedictine Bengals will beat up Akron East. Too easy for them, man. Geneva will beat Alliance. Division 3, Region 10. Copley against St. Mary's. Picking Copley. They're on the road at St. Mary's Memorial. Rocky River will beat Midview in a 5-12 showdown. Toledo Central Catholic has a good shot this year at winning the region. They're not bad despite being 6-4. They will beat Ontario. And Shawnee will beat Holy Name. Don't worry, folks. We're about halfway through it. More than halfway through it. My goodness. NDCL will beat Hubbard. Norton will beat Edgewood. Streetsboro over West Yaga. Northwest against Salem. I'm going with Salem. Division 5 Region 17. I got the Berkshire Badgers beating South Range. And St. Clairsville beating Pymatooning Valley. And Liberty over Manchester. Oh, wait, I got 2 Manchesters. Manchester will beat Addison. Excuse me. Division 6, Region 21. Wycliffe against Springfield, picking Wycliffe. Got the Red Wolves beating Smithville. Dalton will beat Columbiana. And Garraway will beat Mineral Ridge. And finally, Division 7, Region 25. Orange JFK will beat St. Paul. Malvern against St. John's. I'm picking Malvern. Western Reserve will beat East Palestine. And East Canton will beat LDA. Time for FBS and D3 and NFL. I got in the wrong order, but who cares? Platteville will beat Oshkosh. River Falls will beat Whitewater. St. John's will beat Gustavus Adolphus. And what else is out there? Here's an upset. Wisconsin Stout's going to beat Wisconsin Lacrosse. And Christopher Newport's my lock of the week against Montclair State. Should be too easy for them. Well, I wasn't against DePaul. I'm picking DePaul. The good old Yellow Jackets ought to beat up those poor Muskies. Good golly. That game's not going to be close. We're number 22 in the country. We're doing everything right. Got a lot of friends on that team. Got the Salve Regina Seahawks being the Coast Guard. Denison against Oberlin. Too easy. Oberlin's not good. Utica against St. John Fisher. Picking Utica. Calvin against Olivet. Picking Calvin. I think they're the Knights if I'm not mistaken. Wabash against Wittenberg, picking Wabash. Worcester against Kenyon, I am picking the Fighting Scots. Rose Holman, the Engineers will beat Manchester. Ohio Northern, they will beat MSJ. Ohio Northern, that might be a trap game for us next week. I hope it's not, though. I mean, what? We're 6-1. We're going to be 7-1 hanging into that game. But I'm thinking way too ahead. Hanover will beat Bluffton. Heidelberg over Otterbein, and Marietta over Wilmington. That might not be a bad game, Marietta-Wilmington. I'm just saying. FBS football. Ohio State will beat Penn State in the big noon kickoff game. That game's going to be too easy for those Buckeyes, isn't it? Texas will beat Vanderbilt. Or no, Vanderbilt will beat Texas. I apologize. Vanderbilt will beat Texas because Texas is very, 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 very overrated. Miami is my lock of the week against SMU. Army will beat the Air Force. Navy will stay undefeated with a win over North Texas. Indiana against Maryland. Maryland is home, but Indiana's just been on a roll all season long. Proven last year was not a fluke. I think they'll win. Florida's my upset. I don't know why I'm going Florida, but I don't know if it's because it's a neutral spot or whatnot. But the world's largest outdoor cocktail party is going to go to the Gators. Notre Dame will beat up Boston College. Too easy for the good old Irish. Boise State will beat Fresno. Virginia will beat Cal. Ole Miss against South Carolina. Got to pick Ole Miss. Georgia Tech will still be undefeated when they beat NC State, but that could be a trap game. You watch out, folks. Tennessee will beat Oklahoma pretty easily. Nebraska will beat USC. Washington State will beat Oregon State in the Pac-2 showdown. Yes, the Pac-2 showdown. My goodness. I think Utah's going to pick up the win over Cincinnati and will be a very, very good game. Time for the NFL. The Browns are off, thank God. Thank you, God. The Browns are off. I don't have to suffer this Sunday. Thank you, God. Ravens will beat the Dolphins. Bears will beat the Bengals. My lock of the week are the Detroit Lions over the Vikings. Vikings don't really have a quarterback. They're all hurt. This is a gimme for Detroit. Packers will beat the Panthers. Broncos will beat the Texans. Patriots against the Falcons. Got to go with the New England Patriots. They're on fire. They're winning the AFC East. My goodness. What else is out there? 49ers, Giants. Got to go with the 49ers now. The Cam Scabba's done for the year. Oh, poor Cam. Great running back, and he's hurt. He's done for the season. That sucks. That really does. Yep, you know it. And the Colts will be 8-1 when they beat up the poor Steelers. I don't feel bad for the Steelers. Chargers will beat the Titans. Rams will beat the Saints. My upset of the week, the Raiders will beat the Jaguars. And the Bills will beat the Chiefs in a huge game. And the Commanders will beat the Seahawks on Sunday night. Monday night, we got the Cowboys against the Cardinals. I'm picking the Cowboys. Well, folks, I can't believe I did it. Tommy's picks, of course, sadly on WHBW this week. There's no live stream. No live stream in any sport because, well, everybody's off. We're on the road. The volleyball team, we got Hoban at Norwalk. Oh, my goodness. We'll take on Brecksville or Clay in football, as mentioned earlier. Be sure you subscribe there. Be sure to subscribe to WCTV YouTube channel. It's always fun here. Tyler, thank you for watching. So long, everybody.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.